So for me, it was a big inspiration. And so when we went back to our business, we looked at what we are not doing right, and we are starting to correct what we've not been doing right. When we started the program, we have a school, as I told you. After the program, we've been able now to expand. We have now 4 campuses. From 1 campus that we had last year, we now have 4 campuses. And that all came from being inspired and feeling like, we can actually do it. And somehow, when you believe, God opens doors. And that's one of the key things we've learned from this program. So I'd like to encourage you, Arusha people, you have God here. Sometimes people don't realize, but this is God. Please make use of it. It's going to change your lives. It's going to change Arusha. It's going to change Tanzania. We have a lot of potential in Africa, but sometimes we don't have enough confidence to turn these opportunities into business. And I personally believe if you are to change Africa, it is through entrepreneurship. I've worked in the charity industry, NGOs, but I strongly feel the best way to transform Africa is through entrepreneurship. So I'd like to thank the team, the KLNT team, for giving us this opportunity, the Regent University, for giving us the opportunity to bring this training to Tanzania. Thank you so much. That's my experience. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. I'm sure we are learning a lot of things tonight. One of the stories that Sesanga has not shared, I remember one day he told me that while they were driving from Iringa to Dodoma, they actually came very close to a very bad accident, but the Lord God basically saved them. So we praise God for that. There are so many students in Dar es Salaam and in Dodoma who have benefited out of this program. I have been, and I continue to be, one of the trainers and facilitators of the program. It's always a great joy to be a part of the facilitation team where, we get access to world-class content and the materials from Regent University from the USA. Now, in a minute from now, we're going to share a few more testimonials from a couple more people. But in the meantime, why don't you take a few seconds to discuss with your neighbor or to network or to try to know your neighbor, at least by their first name and their business, Why don't you, and if you can, try and collect a business card from them, if you can. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask you all to stand as we receive the guest of honor. You may be seated, please. Dear guest of honor, Honorable Professor Kitila Mukumbo, Minister of State in the President's Office, Investments and Planning. DC Arumeru, Honorable Emanuela Kaganda, other leaders from the government, the private sector, as well as the churches and other religious bodies. All protocol has been observed. Welcome to this special occasion where we are all witnessing the special launch of the Business Development Center that is brought to you by Regents University in collaboration with Kingdom Leadership Network of Tanzania. I would like to take this time to allow for introductions to be done. And I'll start by introducing some key leaders from the Kingdom Leadership Network of Tanzania, KLNT for short. So first we have the Executive Chairman, Brother Isaac Mpatwa. If you can wave your hand, please, would appreciate that. We have Advocate Wolfrida Mahalu. She is one of the board members in the Senior Advisory Board. Dr. Godwin Kimaro, Senior Advisor as well. You around? Dr. Ibrahim Mwangalaba, Managing Director of Meliå Bank, which is a partner bank to this program. Brother Timothy Muna is a Senior Consultant at KLNT. KLNT management and staff, wherever you are, kindly raise your hands. A round of applause to all of them. Thank you. On the side of the government, we have Principal Administrative Officer, who is going to give the introductions on behalf of the Regional Administrative Secretary, Madam Halima Faraji Hassan. Karibu.
Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi, Waziri wa Nchi, Ofisi ya Rais, Mipango na Uwekezaji. Mheshimiwa Emmanuel Kaganda, Mkuu wa Wilaya ya Arumeru, akimwakilisha Mheshimiwa John Mongela, Mkuu wa Mkoa wa Arusha. Ndugu Isaac Mpatwa, Mwenyekiti wa Bodi ya KLNT pamoja na management nzima ya Bodi ya KLNT. Kwa niaba ya Katibu Tawala wa mkoa, naomba kutambua viongozi wa serikali walioambatana na Mheshimiwa Emanuela Kaganda, Mkuu wa Wilaya ya Arumeru. Naomba kutambua uwepo wa Mheshimiwa Mkuu wa Wilaya ya Arumeru, Mheshimiwa Emanuela Kaganda, akimwakilisha Mkuu wa Mkoa wa Arusha, Mheshimiwa John V.K. Mongela. Naomba kutambua uwepo wa makatibu tawala wa wilaya zote za Arusha waliopo hapa. Naomba kutambua waheshimiwa wenye viti wa halmashauri wakiongozwa na meya wetu, mstahiki meya kama amefika. Naomba kutambua uwepo wa wakurugenzi wa halmashauri za Arusha wakiongozwa na mkurugenzi wa jiji kama wameshafika. Naomba kutambua wakuu wa taasisi za serikali mliopo hapa. Naomba kutambua wanahabari wote mlioko hapa. Shukran.
A round of applause, please. At this juncture, I would like now to welcome the Executive Director of Kingdom Leadership Network of Tanzania, Brother Isaac Mpatwa, to share his remarks. You're welcome. Round of applause as he comes to stage.
Honorable Professor Kitila Mkumbo, Minister of State in President Office, Investment and Planning. Honorable Emmanuel Kaganda, Arumeru District Commissioner, representing the Arusha Regional Commissioner. The Advisory Board of the Kingdom Leadership Network Tanzania and its affiliate Kingdom Leadership Institute. The faculty of the Regent BDC Tanzania. Jason Benedict, a strategist and the representative of the Regent University Center for Entrepreneurship. Lloyd Ward, CEO and the founder of the Ward Holdings International. Mr. Godfrey Simbeye, the president of the Ward Holdings Africa and the former chief executive officer of the Tanzania Private Sector Foundation. Business leaders, NGO leaders, entrepreneurs, all protocol observed. Thank you and God bless you for honoring our invitation, for attending this business meeting, and specific for the introduction of the Regent University Business Development Center here in Arusha. This is our first meeting in Arusha. And one of the objectives of the KLNT's meeting for tonight is to share our vision and to tell who we are, what we have done, what we've achieved, and what are our future plans, just in brief. For the past 10 years, December 17th this year, the Kingdom Leadership Network Tanzania will be celebrating 10 years of operations here in Tanzania. And we are running 10 platforms that are focusing on training, capacity building, good governance, business, and investment forums between Tanzania and Israel, and Tanzania and the USA. In line with this, KLNT is a network of leaders in business, in government, politics, and other professional cycles, united in their passion to bring about positive change by influencing and transforming leaders and leadership in Tanzania. KLNT does this by promoting integrity and leadership through various interventions which prepare leaders to excel both economically and socially. Over the 10 years of our existence, we have rolled out these 10 platforms focusing on the transformation of the leadership and the economic state of our country. We execute these visions through capacity building, partnerships with different partners, including the Regent University and other partnerships from other countries. Our work is gathering a momentum, and we've started to see the results. We've carried out more than 10 high-level formal coaching and mentoring sessions via our program called KLNT Leadership and Coaching Program, which revolves around developing Tanzania through strategic transformational leadership interventions. Through these, we have reached more than 500 senior leaders in Tanzania and linked them with the successful business networks and connections across Africa and globally. The relationships are continuing right now. We have seen our alumni and many members being appointed into strategic positions. We initiated a program for capacity building for political and governmental leaders called Tanzania National Prayer Breakfast. And the purpose for this is to train leaders, to instill value-based systems into political and governmental leaders. In 2014, KLNT pioneered and launched the Tanzania, Israel, and Business Investment Forum, which is focusing on strengthening Israel and Tanzania economic diplomacy by facilitating economic, wealth, and technology transfer between Tanzania and Israel. Several business-to-business, business-to-government initiatives are underway right now. And we've done these forums 7 times. We normally do one forum in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, and the next one we do it in Tel Aviv, Israel. So the potential investment of about $400 million are in various stages development through these partnerships, these business-to-business and these business-to-government projects. KLNT strategized, coordinated, and we have been hosting these programs in partnership with both government of Tanzania and the government of Israel. In Tanzania, we've been working in partnership with the Tanzania Private Sector Foundation, Tanzania Investment Center, and Ministry of Industry and Trade and Ministry of Investment, together with the full support from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. From Israel, we work with the government of Israel through the Israel Export Institute, through Mashav with the Israel International Agency for Development, and through our partners called Agritech, focusing on agriculture technology. And mainly, we've been focusing on agriculture, manufacturing, energy, power, including also explosive industries. We also focus on the homeland security, technological innovation, and tourism. Through this platform, we have seen Israeli ambassador attending, and from Tanzania, Israeli ambassador was appointed by one of the product of these forums. So to play our role in influencing the national economic transformation of Tanzania, which is one of our mandate, we have mainly 3 economic platforms that we would like to share and introduce to you here in Arusha. As I mentioned, in the Tanzania-Israel Business Investment Forum, the Tanzania-US Business Investment Forum, and the Regent University Business Development Center. BDC creates economic opportunities by providing training, mentorship, incubation, and business advisory services for entrepreneurs and business to succeed and completely run their business profitably. On the first day of August 2019, the Kingdom Leadership Network Tanzania signed an agreement with the Regent University through its Center for Entrepreneurship as the licensor and the partner to organize and run this program here in Tanzania. On the same note, the Regent Center for Entrepreneurship conducted a 4-day trainers training in Dar es Salaam. That was in 2019, July, of which 30 experts, CEO of the banks, business people, they were certified as trainers to run these programs here in Tanzania. On November 11th, of 2020, we witnessed the Business Development Center launched in Dar es Salaam, followed by a pilot 20-week entrepreneurship program kickoff, which kicked off on 14th of November at Hyatt Regency Dar es Salaam. This project success was realized and through wisdom and guidance of our patron and the board, Honorable Mizengo Pinda, who is the former Prime Minister of Tanzania, but with full support of government institutions and the social and the NGOs organizations. On the 15th of May, at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, Dar es Salaam, we were blessed to see the first product of these 20 entrepreneurs. We were blessed to have Honorable Professor Kitila Mkumbo, by then as the Minister of Industry and Trade, as the guest of honor. We were humbled to see business plan presentations. These students started with the ideas, and eventually they launched their businesses. Some of them, you've managed to see their testimonies, and they're all doing well. To date, more than 100 entrepreneurs in Dar es Salaam and in Dodoma, they are doing well, and they are continuing to run their businesses. We are very proud that the trainers are local Tanzanian industry experts and professionals who have been able to localize the materials and making the program very relevant to our local environment and industries. These entrepreneurs have gone out to start, develop, and scale up their businesses by utilizing the knowledge gained from the practical training and the life skill principles engaged in them. They are creating income and employment opportunities for other Tanzanians, and in turn contributed to building businesses and industries across different sectors, positively impacting the communities, their cities, and the economy at large. To date, we all know there's a lack of specific practical knowledge-based program. And most of the entrepreneurship programs that are currently existing are more of academic, and they are not specifically targeted to build and equip entrepreneurs to grow their small ideas and thereafter run their businesses profitably successful. So we have in Tanzania today a handful of successful, prosperous, indigenous owned business and industries people that we have trained. There are more than 100 entrepreneurs as of today. We are looking forward to see more successful Tanzanians, entrepreneurs, and business people with business that export Tanzanian finished goods to global markets, thus achieving import substitution and export competitiveness that positively impact and grows our economy. We'll continue to do this training, and that's why we're here in Arusha to start this program in January 24th next year, and developing and releasing these entrepreneurs, training into different mindset and skills with value-based principles, attitudes, and characters on how to build a successful entrepreneurship or business sector, like in manufacturing, tourism, agro-processing, technology, and value addition. We at KLNT, we have received an honor that goes with it to truly work and connect the whole nation, in the sense that we enjoy great relationships with NGOs, with government, amongst most of the ministries, from Ministry of Agriculture, Industry and Trade, Foreign Affairs. Most of the ministries, in one way or another, we work with them. We work with social and faith-based community, including churches, political parties. We are non-partisan organizations, so we conduct good governance training to all political parties, regardless of their political ideology that they have attached with. So we have an honor to have great relationships inside Tanzania and abroad. Thank you very much for your attention. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Isaac Mpatwa, the Executive Chairman of Kingdom Leadership Network of Tanzania. A round of applause to him, please. He has been sharing KLNT vision and success stories, partnerships, and future plans. At this point, I would like to invite Brother Timothy Muna, who is a senior consultant at KLNT, to introduce the next speaker. Karibu sana.
Habari za jioni tena. Thank you so much. I think we have got an understanding of what KLNT is now after Mr. Isaac, our chairman, has given us a brief history of KLNT. And at this junction, actually, we are now going to go on the other side. We are here to launch the Business Development Center, which actually works together between KLNT and Regent University Business Center. So we are very much privileged today. We heard the first speaker, Dr. Muford. I think some of us were not here, but Muford works together with Jason Benedict, and Jason is an entrepreneur, he's an enterprise development specialist. I think he's been in Tanzania 3 or 4 times since 2020. I think I met him here first time in Arusha before even he started working there in Dar es Salaam. And he's the CEO of a management consulting firm that specializes in helping companies scale up and by building winning systems and winning teams. He has an extensive experience serving as a consultant, a coach, a trainer, a mentor, and a former investment banker and a board member. Mr. Jason has worked with hundreds of businesses across various industry sectors. And since 2008, he is a strategic with the Regent University Center of Entrepreneurship, a university think tank focused on entrepreneurship and human flourishing. He's a co-founder of the BDC. So together with Professor Mulford, they co-founded the BDC in Regent University, and he holds a degree in business and theology from the same Regent University, and he has a lot of books. He has written several books. If you want his books, I think after his presentation, you can ask him outside there. It is with my great honor to invite Brother Jason on the stage to speak to us and give us more details about the BDC. So welcome, brother. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the government of Tanzania for your support and cooperation in this effort. And what an honor it is to be here with all of you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to share a few remarks. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the history and the background of the Business Development Center. Back in 2005, we convened a symposium at Regent University with about 20 different organizations that were focused on entrepreneurship training. These were organizations that were working domestically in the United States as well as around the world. And the focus of this symposium was how can we effectively train entrepreneurs that will start and grow businesses, but entrepreneurs that will also contribute meaningfully to their communities and to the flourishing of their communities and to the flourishing of their nations, and do this in an ethical way. And so we had a wonderful symposium, but there were two things that we learned in this gathering. One is that many of these entrepreneurship training programs were experiencing very low rates of success. It was actually quite shocking. The average was that from these programs, about 7% of the graduates were actually going on to form flourishing businesses. And so this was a discouraging statistic. And so we talked with this group and we said, what could we do to improve these rates of success? And one of the things that came out very strongly was that entrepreneurs need more than training to succeed. They, in fact, need a family. Now, one interesting statistic is that entrepreneurs that come from a business family, that is an entrepreneurial background in their family of origin, actually succeed at a very high rate. And we started asking ourselves this question, why is that? Well, I think some of the reasons are apparent. They grow up around business. They're immersed in an environment of business. They have a supporting family and a context that helps them. And so we realized that what if we could develop a program that would provide that supportive environment? Essentially, what if we could provide a family, an entrepreneurial family, that would support and help these entrepreneurs? What if we could provide an ecosystem? An ecosystem for entrepreneurship that would provide not only a training, a very good training I might add, but it would also provide access to mentorship, to coaching, to advocacy, access to capital, access to markets, peer support, and so many other things that we've discovered are essential to the success of entrepreneurs. So we started working on that project. In 2009, the door opened for us to actually launch our first pilot program in Kigali, Rwanda. And so we developed a curriculum that was intended to be intensely practical, not theoretical, but intensely practical, focused on the real-world skills that entrepreneurs need to succeed. In fact, one of the things that we said is we want to have a zero busy work guarantee. Do you understand what I mean by busy work? Zero busy work guarantee. If you're in this program, you are working on your business. You're not working on merely a business plan, but actually working on a business. In fact, we have a competition at the end of the program where our entrepreneurs present their business. We don't say they present their business plan because, again, the culture of the program is all about actually working on and developing your business. So, but if you're anything like me, though, you're saying, well, how does this thing really work? How does it really work? What does it really look like? And I think one of the best ways for me to share that with you this evening is to give you a look under the hood, under the bonnet, so to speak, and to see what the internal workings really look like. And perhaps the best way to accomplish that is to tell you a story and tell you how it's actually worked in real life. Now, I'm going to tell you a story from Rwanda, but I sincerely believe that in a few years I'll be addressing a similar gathering in another nation where we're starting another BDC, and I'll be using examples from Arusha, right? Now, the reason I'm sharing this example from Kigali is because this journey started in 2011, and we can see the unfolding of that journey over the years. So who you see pictured here is a graduate of the BDC. He went through the program in 2011. His name is Hervé Tushime. And so Hervé was a very young man, as you can see. And when he came into the program, he told me this later. At the time, I didn't know this. At the time, I saw a bright young man that was full of potential, and we engaged him in that potential, and we encouraged him, and we said, Hervé, you can do this. You have what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. And that's what we do in our program, which I think, as one of the graduates here mentioned, it's full of inspiration, and that's the way it's been designed. But he told me later, he said, you know what, Jason, when I came into the program, I was hopeless. I'd been stuck in a job for several years with no hope of advancing. He said it was a dead end. He said, because he was orphaned in the genocide, he said, as a genocide orphan, he said, I had no father. And he said, I really believed I would never amount to anything in life. But he said, but what happened to me in the program is I met mentors, I met coaches and people who believed in me. My classmates believed in me. They encouraged me. They told me, Hervé, you have what it takes. You can succeed. And so, he came up with he was working on a business during the program that was actually, he wanted to start a film company. And it was okay. It was an okay business. He wasn't, but when he finished the program, he graduated, but he wasn't one of our finalists. He wasn't even one of our best graduates at the time. But he had received the training, and right after the training, there was an opportunity to present a business plan to an organization that was offering grant money for the winners of a business plan presentation there in the country. And so he took his business plan for this film company and he dropped it off. And when he dropped it off, he left, and he said, as soon as I left, I felt like that's not really what my destiny is. That's not really what I'm supposed to do. So he went back and he said, can I take this back, please? I'll come back tomorrow. The deadline was the next day. He said, I'll come back tomorrow with a new thing that I want to submit. They said, okay. He went home and he worked all night and he created a business plan for a meat processing company. Can you imagine going from being a filmmaker to a meat processor? But he said he was joyful. He said, I really believed I could do this. And so he took it back, he gave it, and he won. He won, and he got the seed capital that he needed to launch his company. So 5 months after completing our program, doing a completely different business than he had originally planned on, he launched Penile Meat Processing, and we were so excited for him. He, within a very short amount of time, he got a small processing plant and some equipment, and he was producing about 1 ton a month of processed meat. And he started penetrating the market there locally with restaurants and with supermarkets, and he started making some progress. And then he was growing, and he was growing, and he was growing. And the next thing you know, I received a communication from him, and he said, you know what? We have about 25% of the sausage and processed meat market in Kigali. So we were amazed. We were so excited for him. But he said, I really think there's more potential here. Can you help me some more? And we gave him some consulting. We gave him some coaching and encouragement, and we connected him with a mentor, and we connected him with an angel investor. And that angel investor also saw the potential in Penile Meat Processing, which was the name of his company. And this angel investor said, I think we can do much better here. And so they started working, and they continued to grow that thing significantly. Just before the event this evening, I thought to myself, let me go online and see how Hervé is doing. Let me see what's actually happening with Penile Meat Processing. And so what I discovered was absolutely amazing. So if you'll go to the next slide, please. Next slide. There you go. To my great joy, I want to present to you Penile Group Limited, which has now become a conglomerate in the nation of Rwanda. It's a conglomerate including Penile meat processing, but now they're doing over 10 metric tons of processed meats per day. Can you imagine? From that early beginning where they were doing about a ton, maybe 2 every month, to over 10 metric tons of processed meats per day. Just cattle, just beef, they're doing between 17 and 21 a day. Okay? And they have a chicken operation and pork and other things. They also started a company called the Livestock Bank, where they have a financing program, and they place animals with small-scale producers, small-scale farmers, who then become their supply chain so that they have a steady supply chain for the meat products. I didn't even list it here, but just to smooth out any bumps in the supply chain, they've also started their own farms. So they have farms in addition to that. And they developed a really strong logistics department within that business. And that strong logistics department, they realized that could be a business itself. So they spun off the logistics department, and that's this company you see here called Truck Rwanda. That's the logistics spinoff. And if that wasn't enough, they've now started consumer packaged goods, and you can see their first offering of fully cooked meat products there in that thing. So I wanted to show you the power of an ecosystem for economic development, an ecosystem for entrepreneurship. And so that's what I'm excited about, is that we're starting that here in Arusha. We've seen it work in Dar, we've seen it work in Dodoma, and now we're excited that this is happening in Arusha. So there's 2 groups of people that I would like to speak here tonight. One group of people, you've been listening to this, and you heard what Dr. Mulford said earlier, and you've heard what Isaac said, and you're thinking, wow, this might be something that I would like to participate in. I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm aspiring to be an entrepreneur, and this is something that could help me in my own entrepreneurial journey. Well, if that's you tonight, I want you to take action. I want you to get in contact with us. Do we have a way for them to respond? Isaac, do we have a number? Okay. If you would like to, if you are interested and you say, that's me, Jason, I really would like to learn more about this program because perhaps this could help me, we want you to leave your business card or contact information with the BDC team. If you're on the BDC team, can you raise your hand? If you're on the BDC team, okay. You see several hands raised. Look at someone near you and make sure you get your information to them. The second group of people I would like to speak to tonight, you're here and you're thinking, this isn't exactly what I need, but I know somebody. I know somebody that could really be helped by a program like this. If that's you, I would like you to take out your phone, if not right now, immediately after the program, and send those people a message and say, hey, I want to tell you about something. Is that all right? All right. Well, thank you so much again. It's been such an honor to share this with you, and we're so excited to have this partnership, and we're so excited to bring this program to Arusha. Thank you.
A huge round of applause to Brother Jason, strategist from Regent University. Thank you. BDC team, raise your hands again. Okay, so don't forget to go around later and collect business cards on the tables, or better yet, have like a form where people can fill up their names, okay? All right, at this point of the program, I would like to move on by inviting the next speaker. Dr. Ibrahim Mangalaba has lived the best part of his life as a banker for over 20 years, and he's still in there. He is the founding managing director of Meliå Bank PLC, the bank which was founded by Evangelical Lutheran Church of Tanzania, but it is owned by Tanzanians through share ownerships. He has served as a member of Tanzania Bank Association Governing Council. He has served as member of Finance and Budget Committee of Tanzania Institute of Bankers. He has been a board member and chairman of Finance and Budget Committee of Tumaini University. He is, I'm sure, up to this point. He's a mentor and a coach. He's passionate about the youth, more especially. He's a certified banker by the Tanzanian Institute of Bankers, certified director by the Institute of Directors in Tanzania. He's a certified business instructor, trainer by the Joseph Business School and Regent State University. He's also a certified investment advisor by Capital Markets and Securities Authority. I'm sure we are more than lucky to have him tonight. Let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you very much. Praise the Lord. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, dear guest of honor, Professor Kitila Mkumbo, for taking time to be here with us. And I appreciate the presence of DC, Emanuela, and Lloyd. We've just met today, and of course we are friends. And I trust it will generate some positive impact to our economy. My friend Jason, my colleague from BDC, Regent State, Simbeye, yes, the former CEO of TPCF, and Mama Maharu, thank you very much for being here. May I introduce some 2-3 our Babas, the religious leaders who are here with us. I understand there are many, but few let me mention some few of them, or rather recognize some few of them. We have our bishop of Evangelical Lutheran Church, the North Central Tanzania, the diocese, Bishop Dr. Solomon Masangwa. Please, can you wave your hand, please? Thank you very much for your time. We also have the retired bishop and of Moravian Church in Tanzania, Aridikisa Cheyo. And of course, he's a former and immediate chairman of a Christian Council of Tanzania, CCT. And of course, my friend, the assistant to the bishop, Reverend Deogratias Msanya from Northern Diocese. I'm here to share with you some few insights. One from Meliå Bank itself as one of the results of entrepreneurship thinking from the church side. As you have been introduced, Meliå Bank was founded, or rather it has been founded by the church, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Tanzania, Coast and the East Diocese. Dear colleagues, Meliå Bank is a result of a very interesting story, which the church decided to set up a bank. Now, the genesis of the bank was to support the needy society, which was approaching the church to seek for the financial support. Financial supports, some of them clothing supports, food supports, and some other needy things which normally our community, they are asking for the help. And they normally believe that the church have money. But I trust bishops are here and other church leaders are here. The church doesn't have money. And within the church, we have members who have been blessed to have more, and some who don't have. Now, the church leadership decided how to consolidate the effort from the ones who have and the ones who don't have. to form a pool of funds which now can be used to support this needy society. Now, how that could happen? Suppose if they could have now collected these funds and then start giving to this needy society, eventually it will vanish. So now they decided to set up a bank, which now will work as a bank to lend at a very affordable terms and conditions. Now that's the genesis of Meliå Bank. And then, so that to speak, they formed a committee which now started to train, to educate, to create awareness to the church members on the investment in shares and also investment in bank. In that regards, within 2 years, the church managed to collect about 3 billion from the church members alone. And it came from about 3,000 church members. And then they were ready now to set up a bank. By then, the capital for the bank to be of a regional status, a regional bank, was 500 million. That's 2008. And then by 2012, when now the church had already collected these 3 billion, the capital for the regional bank of our size was raised from 500 to 2 billion. Now, still the church had money. So now when they had to approach central bank to get the guidance on how they can get the license. And now from there, the central bank, they requested the church to provide a proof of source of fund financing. That's when they produced the 3,000 church members who contributed the 3 billion. Eventually, we all know that our company law of Tanzania requires any limited company can be formed with the minimum of 2 shareholders and maximum of 50 shareholders. Now, they were 3,000 shareholders. So central bank advised the church to approach the Capital Market Authority to seek for listing procedures. And then it could be a public listed or limited company, which now can accommodate the over 3,000 shareholders. So the church went to the capital markets, they got the necessary guidance, they prepared the prospectus, and then it was listed. After that, they got a license from central bank, and the bank started operations on 9th September 2013. Now, before going to opening the door to the public, now the capital markets issued a condition to the church, or rather to the bank, at least to invite the public through the initial public offer to sell shares to the public, which now the church, or rather the bank, decided to sell 1 billion worth shares to the public within 30 days. And the result was they got 1.5 billion within the 30 days, making the total capital to 4.5. And then, as I said, on 9th September 2013, the bank was ready to open the doors to the public. Now, since then, the bank has grown. As we speak now, the bank has grown its capital from the 4.5 billion to now almost 18 billion as we speak. And it is also growing its total assets, the worthiness of the bank, from the 4.5 billions which was contributed by in 2013 to currently 118 billion shillings as a total assets of the bank. Thank you very much. The bank has been profitable for the last 8 years consecutively. It has been profitable since 2015, and actually it started getting profit in the second year of operations, different from the projections which was requiring the bank to get profit after 3 years. We all know how the bank is heavily invested, and the normal time frame to turn around the bank for a new bank is minimum 5 years. But we managed to turn around the bank within 2 years. And we are profitable from 2015 to date. Last year, 2022, we registered an after-tax profit of 1.4 billion shillings. In short, the bank has been doing well. Now, working with the bank for the 10 years, I've been privileged to be the founding CEO of the bank. Now, working at the bank within 10 years, I've learned a lot. We have been working with the founders reason of setting up the bank, supporting the community. That's our primary responsibility, primary goals of the bank. Yes, we are doing business, but we are doing business in the sense of supporting the community, the needed communities. Now, just to share our few cases where the bank has supported the community, as much as we are doing the business, we have invested heavily in Machinga. We all know that Machinga is a matching guy, just to interpret to my friend Rohit. Pet traders, they don't have special, fixed place where you can find them. You can assess their business. You can even confirm that this is where they are living. But the bank took trouble to study the Machinga's behavior, to study the Machinga's business, and to when we all were comfortable and confident that we can invest or finance them. As we speak now, I think we are the best friend of Machinga in Dar es Salaam. That I can confess. We have invested over 6 billion as I speak to Machinga, to over 5,000 Machingas. And I shared this morning, the quality of their loan is the best. The central bank give a limit of 5% bad loans out of the end amount you're issuing to loans, is the loans. But for Machinga, the non-performing loans is maximum 2%. We show that they have a discipline. They have a discipline. So sharing this, I do encourage other financial sector to trust Machinga. There are so many, and they need our support. The other parts, just to share with you, on how the bank invested in the community. We have piloted a very new project. We partnered with TGNP. We went around to the unprivileged girls. Some of them, they are involved in prostitutions. And we went around to that level. And then we recruited 10 of them, young girls. We trained them financial literacy. We trained them on loan management. We trained them on driving the bajaji, the three-wheelers. Now we want to empower the unprivileged ladies. And the 10 whom I'm speaking about, if you ever seen this kind of bajaji in Dar es Salaam, they labeled Pink Ride. It's pink in color. It's branded, powered by Mandela Bank. Now the aim is to go beyond that, to support many of their kinds, to tell them that prostitutions and other uncalled for is not a good business. So they have energy. They can be used to produce and to have a self-reliance. So this part of the community engagement of the bank, which we are supporting the community, as I said, we want now to leave the founders' reason for setting up the bank. Now, coming to the BDC, I've been a trainer for BDC since it started. And before that, I've been training under JBS for the past 10 years. I'm so convinced that the region states, the BDC, is worth taking. So for Arusha team, I do encourage you, because I have a witness of the hundreds team who have been trained in Dar es Salaam and Dodoma. I've been mentoring about 10 of them. And I have financed from the bank side about 5 of them. And they are growing very well. Their way they are managing their business is very professional. And they have a very green light to grow bigger. And I think it would be a good time next time maybe to invite them to share the experience, how they use the BDC regions trainings to sharpen their business, to grow their business, and to sustain their business. And the beauty of BDC, it gives you the training, or rather the students or the entrepreneurs. It's a place where you get networking. It's a place where you get networking. You can sell your own products within yourself. It's a place where you can get mentor at, or rather free, because the ones I'm saying I'm mentoring 10, they're not paying anything. And I'm sometimes taking trouble to visit on their business to see that what we are discussing in the office is being implemented. Through the BDC, I trust you will be getting the counseling from these renowned trainers. And Arusha, you are so blessed. We have Dr. Kimaro, I think somewhere. Dr. Kimaro, please, yes. Dr. Kimaro is a renowned, a serious trainer, and there are many other trainers in Arusha. I've been talking this morning to Isaac that the BDC Arusha could be the best BDC in our country, because the nature of the trainer, they're so serious. A serious mind with the wealth of experience. I was so happy to meet with the number of religious leaders. And Bishop John, I think, yes, John, please. I shared with him one of the testimony. He has been training for a number of years. And one of the person who have been trained by him, though he did not allow me to share this, so I'm sharing, you can just allow me to do that. One of the trainer, one of the person who have been trained by him is now one of the millionaire. He's running a very good business, which I think now he's also among the person who will be sharing his experience to the BDC Arusha. So I all call upon the team in Arusha to use this chance to improve, to sustain our business. And our country currently, or rather our country's business environment is highly conducive. It's good. It is rather giving a chance of excelling. Imagine in our country we have over 3 million SME. And the SME forms about 30%, or rather contribute about 30% into GDP. We have our investment minister here. He can speak much about that. So now it means we have a room in investing in SME, growing in SME. And in our country, we have a big room. As a bank, most of the banks in the country, they are segmenting SME as their main and key customers, because we have very few corporate clients of the rank of Lloyds. You can count them. They are even not more than 10. So most of the customers of the bank here in our country, they're SME. So there's a big room of SME growth in our country. So I do call upon members, Arusha team, Arusha entrepreneurs, to use this position, use this chance. And Meliå Bank next year, God willing, we are still doing some internal process, but we are planning to come to Arusha next year. We are planning to come to Arusha next year. So we are doing some regulatory compliance with the central bank, which we'll be doing next year, because the capital requirements of the National Bank has already been met. So we are so confident that next year we'll be in Arusha. And I expect to see you here in Arusha, and we'll be working together. And I assure you, the financing advisory services will be very free to you. I wish you all the best.
A big round of applause to Dr. Mwangalaba, Managing Director for Meliå Bank. You know, one of the beauties of these programs is that you get to network with very key quality and strategic people. Imagine, you know, connecting with the CEO of a bank like him, just like that. You know, you and him sit at this same table, you exchange ideas. I think it will make it easier for you to access the funding. Don't you think so? I'll share a little story before I invite our next speaker. So when I left my village back in 1995, Sumbawanga Rukwa, coming to Dar es Salaam for my high school education, my father said to me, here is a list of 5 people that you must meet in Dar es Salaam. They are our relatives. Be sure to meet them. And guess what? One of those 5 people that I was given his name back then, 1993, I've got to meet him today right here in Arusha. And he's going to be our next speaker, Brother Geoffrey Simbeye, who is the former CEO of Tanzania Private Sector Foundation and currently the president World Holdings Africa. Karibu sana. Makofi kwake tafadhali. Ndugu yangu kabisa, kaka yangu toka 1993 ndo namuona leo. Makofi kwake tafadhali. Kwa sababu ya KLNT na Regency. Karibu.
Honorable Professor Kitila Mkumbo, Minister for Planning and Investment, I recognize your presence this evening, and I'm told you're coming from Dodoma today. Hongera sana, Mheshimiwa Waziri. Kwa kweli tumpigie makofi Mheshimiwa Waziri. Alafu nilikupigia sana debe leo Mheshimiwa Waziri. Nilisema huyu waziri akikupa appointment lazima atakuja. Kwa hiyo nashukuru uwepo wako Mheshimiwa. I also wish to recognize Madam Emanuela Kaganda, representative of the Arusha Regional Commissioner. I believe we were running a bit late, and the minister was supposed to be speaking now, so I will be very fast. So, before I do the work that I'm supposed to do, and I want to correct a little bit, I'm not going to give you a speech, but I'm going to introduce someone very important in this room today. So that's my job, to introduce someone. If I was given a chance to make a speech, I would have loved it, but the plan is for someone from the US to speak in this event today. So, and before I do that, I want to congratulate KLNT. This is good. When I was in TPSF, we established Business Development Center as well. To be honest, you are doing very well. And Isaac, you're always a fighter. Isaac, you're always a fighter. Mheshimiwa Waziri, when he started KLNT, 7 years ago, is it? 7 years? 6 years ago? 10 years now. I was in TPSF. This guy, he went around the whole of this country, and nobody was interested in what he was doing. And finally, I am the one who pushed him. I'm the one who accepted to work with him when I was at TPSF. He's a fighter, he's still a fighter today, and continue, my brother. Continue to do that. So, I'm standing here because of this. This is WHA. This is the World Holdings Africa. And I've been introduced here as a former CEO of TPSF. Please, and from now, introduce me as President of World Holdings Africa. I am the president of that company. What do we do? We advocate for the market-driven industrialization for the agriculture sector. Professor Kitila Mkumbo, the minister, knows us very well. We have met him before in 2021. I think, Lloyd, you remember when he was the Minister for Industry and Trade? And this is what we are doing. Honorable Minister, you know that after we met you, we are now in the market in the US. We launched the product in 2022 in New Orleans. That was the work that the person that I'm going to introduce to you did for this country. So, the person that I'm going to introduce to you is an industrialist. His name is Lloyd David Ward. This gentleman is an entrepreneur. And in fact, Isaac, also why we agreed to be partner in this program, in this Business Development Center services, is because Lloyd believes in entrepreneurship. Since he came to this country, in 2020, you remember, Lloyd, we established a group of young people, about 20 of them. We trained them every Saturday for about 6 months. Every Saturday. It was about entrepreneurship. And he did it by himself, but we were there, of course, just trying to help him. He did it. Right now, you are doing a virtual mentorship with about 60 young guys. I think it's more is from the US and Tanzania. I believe so. You may be able to talk more about that. He believes in mentoring people. He believes in training. He believes in entrepreneurship. That's why we agreed to be partners. So Lloyd has got more than 30 years in consumer products business. This gentleman has worked all his life in the industry. When he finished his mechanical engineering from the Michigan State University in the US, immediately, yani kijana mdogo tu, a young guy from the university, he joined a company called Procter & Gamble in the US. This is a huge company. But he rose from entry level to become vice president and general manager in Procter & Gamble. For those who don't know this company, just go and Google. It's a very big company. From there, that is a food processing. They were doing a lot of things, but food was also part of it. From there, he went to Pepsi-Cola. Pepsi-Cola itunayokunywa, which is available in the market here. He was the vice president of Pepsi-Cola in the US. Another industry. From there, he left and went to Frito-Lay. Frito-Lay, he is also a president of one of the largest divisions, I think, in that company. Also, Frito-Lay, you know that they make Lay's chips, they make so many other food products from agriculture. So Lloyd is a specialist when it comes to turning raw materials into food, the food that you buy from the retail stores. He's a specialist. And then from there, he went to become the first African American to be the CEO and chairman of a Fortune 500 company. Fortune 500 company. Nobody really, a Fortune 500 company, a CEO. Right now, I was reading, the criteria for you to become a Fortune 500 company. Your annual revenue must not be below $6.4 billion. $6.4 billion. You can become a Fortune 500 in the US. Hizo jamani ni kama trilioni 16 hivi za Tanzania. Sasa niambie kama kuna kampuni ambayo inafikia hapa Tanzania kwa hiyo. He was the first African American to be the CEO and chairman of a Fortune 500 company. The company is called Maytag. But Maytag was not into the food business. Maytag was electronics, washing machines, everything to do with electronics. He was the chairman. And then from there, he went to become the CEO of the United States Olympics Committee. You remember Olympics Committee is 2001, 2002. He was the CEO of the Olympics, and they were very successful. That's true, I think, Lloyd. They were very, very successful. Despite the fact that America just came from the 9/11 in 2001, but he was able to be the CEO, and it was very successful. He was also a board member of JP Morgan Chase in the US, a member of General Motors, you know, the big company, General Motors, also doing so many industries. He was also a board member of one of the power company in the US. He was able also, in 2017, 2019, you were able to raise about $300 million in the US for investing in special purpose acquisition companies. So this guy, whom is going to talk to you right now, after I speak, he's an industrialist. He will talk to you today about industrialization. He will talk to you about entrepreneurship. And don't forget, Lloyd, to talk about transformation of Tanzania, transformation of Africa. Africa must be transformed. There must be a new day and a new way in Africa. We cannot continue to sell commodities. We have to sell consumer packaged goods to consumers around the globe. This is what we are doing in this company, and from now on, I say, when you come here, I want you to greet them in Kiswahili. I taught you to greet in Kiswahili. So you say in Kiswahili, habari ya jioni. Lloyd, I have the honor to invite you to come and speak to this service. Thank you, sir.
Habari Ajioni. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Godfrey Simbe. Honorable Minister, Madam Regional Commissioner, other distinguished dignitaries and guests. It is my privilege to be with you today. It's been a journey not of 30 years, Godfrey, but 50 years that I have been in the industrial world, and I've been to over 117 countries. I've done business in half. In 2002, January, I came to this country on assignment from China to open up free and fair trade between an inland province in China and Africa. I and my team came to Tanzania because we had done work over the years in and out, and we knew a special gentleman. His name was Godfrey Simbe. Godfrey Simbe is the reason why my company came to Africa and Tanzania. I will tell you this, that I've been around the world, and there's no place in the world like Africa. Africa is the most resource-abundant land on earth, and yet Africa contributes less than 3% to the global economy as measured by GDP. GDP is the economic activity of a nation. How can it be that Africa is the most resource-abundant land on earth and contributing so little to the global economy? And the reason is Africa today, with all the vast riches, most of what is grown on the rich and fertile soils of Africa or extracted from it is monetized in the global supply chain as raw materials and commodities, the lowest value in the economic chain. You see, this must change. And it must change because Africa is required, a strong Africa is required for a healthy world. That as Africa grows, the world will prosper. As Africa prospers, the world will benefit. But here's the thing. Let me be clear that Africa is moving forward. Minister, Tanzania is one of the shining lights in Africa with GDP growth, with open borders, with free and fair trade, with infrastructure development. These things that matter for entrepreneurs to create economic activity. You see, it is economic activity that transforms the economy of a nation. And it is in partnership with the government. So what should the government do in economic activity to support entrepreneurs developing commerce? Roadways, railways, seaways, ports, airways, airports, and cargo planes. Affordable clean energy, clean water. The infrastructure of business is the infrastructure of life. And as the government in Tanzania has done so magnificently well, and moving forward, these aspects of what it requires for an advanced society, what I call a great society, are in motion today. But it's not enough, you see. Africa is advancing, but Africa is advancing at a slower rate than the world is moving. In 1990, UNIDO said that developing countries contributed 6.6% of manufacturing output in the world. in 2019, 1990, 2019, they said it's 0.4, 0.2% lower, even though Africa has advanced substantially over that period of time. Here is the reality that we face. The world is moving forward. Here's the great news about Africa. The world will not achieve its grandness without the resources of Africa. Here's the challenge for us. How will Africa benefit from what is grown and extracted from your land? And the answer is a synergy between government and entrepreneurs to develop economic activity that is unparalleled and unprecedented in the history of the world. It is no longer acceptable for Africa to just have 6%, 7% GDP growth, which the world will applaud. If we continue to do that in Africa, we will continue to fall behind. Here's why. If you have 10 units and you grow 10%, that's 1 unit growth. But if you have 100 units and you have 5%, that's 5 units. That's 5 times the economic activity growth of the country with 10 units. And we have to think about growing Africa's economy in double digits. How will that occur? It will occur through entrepreneurialism. That's why I'm here. I'm an entrepreneur, an economic development specialist, you see. And so what might that look like? It will look like the testimonials that you saw here today. These testimonials are really the soul of progress. And we need hundreds of thousands of them. Millions of them. And it will look like what we are doing with my company. I've been blessed to see, experience, understand how to play big in the world. I can access unlimited capital. But guess what? It's not easy to bring it to Africa. Africa faces its major challenge. 1, entrepreneurial expertise. 2, access to affordable capital. Let me tell you our journey. Over the last 4 years, we've re-engineered the global supply chain in cashews from seed to farm, from farm to harvest, from harvest to in-country processing in Tanzania, from in-country processing to value addition to consumer goods packaging, branding. We're bringing cashews from Tanzania to the world in consumer packaged goods. We opened the market in November of 2022, and that brand is called Tanzanuts. Tanzanuts, the best tasting cashews in the world from the rich and fertile soils of Tanzania. You see, Africa harvests 60% of the cashews in the world. 60% of the cashews in the world, and no one knows it. 90% of that harvest is sold to Vietnam and India as a raw material at the lowest value in the global supply chain. We, on the other hand, through re-engineering the supply chain, sell into the global market at the highest value. No brokers, traders, dealers, handlers. We disintermediate India and Vietnam. We bring those jobs back to Africa, Tanzania. And we have economic expansion that is transformative in the capital markets. Next year, we will bring an IPO, an initial public offering that's becoming a publicly traded company on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. We've chosen Dar es Salaam as the epicenter of economic development from Africa to the world. We've expanded beyond Tanzania into the other 14 cashew-producing countries in Africa. Tanzania is the 4th largest producer of RCNs, raw cashew nuts, in the continent. We've expanded to all 15 cashew-producing countries. We've organized them to sell directly into the U.S. market with what we call market-driven industrialization. And we're taking that platform of economic transformation for Africa to Wall Street in the USA. And we're going to offer the public offering starting mid-next year at 220 T shillings per share. I want you to absorb that for a minute. We're taking a multi-billion dollar, it'll be a $2 billion raise, a $2 billion US dollar raise, and we're offering it to Africa and the world at 220 T shillings. The reason is we said to Orbit Securities, which is our investment advisory firm for the IPO, we said we want Africans to be able to participate as shareholders in transformation platforms that create wealth and prosperity, better living conditions, wealth and prosperity. How might we do that? And they said, if you really want to do that, you have to price it so Tanzanians and Africans can afford it. And we said, what price might that be? I was thinking we'd do $20 US per share in a multi-billion dollar IPO. That is not unreasonable. But that's from an outside-in point of view. From an inside-out point of view, they said if you want to reach Africa and if you want Africans to participate in the economic bounty of the transformation of their land, their soil, their resources, you have to price it so it's affordable for them to join you in your kingdom walk. We said, what price is that? They said 220 T shilling. That is 10 cents USA. Oh, this has never been done before, Minister. And we said that we want to offer this IPO in Africa and give people the choice of participating economically in the transformation of their land and their resources. We will do this. You will have a choice now in Tanzania to buy a boiled egg from the street vendors or 2 shares of our stock. Your choice. We will take this platform across all of Africa, and all countries, no matter of their currency, will be marked to the dollar at a rate of 10 cents a share based on 220 T shillings. In February of next year, every year, February is called Black History Month in America, USA. It's a time where we African Americans celebrate our heritage, who we are, where we're from. On the first day of Black History Month, February 1st, 2004, we have organized for the CEO of the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange and the CEO of the Securities Market and the Capital Markets and Security Authority to ring the bell. Minister, please listen to me. To ring the bell on Wall Street on the NASDAQ. You see, kingdom in Africa, Africa's inclusion into the mainstream of global commerce will not occur in the darkness of night or the shadows of day. It must occur in the full sunshine of kingdom. It must occur so the world sees it. The world cannot progress without the resources of Africa. Do you understand that? If you understand that, you now understand that the opportunity for entrepreneurialism is greater in Africa today than anywhere ever in the world, ever. And to meet that challenge, here you have an offering that we choose to be a part of, an offering to prepare yourself for the greatest economic transformation in the history of the world. African-centric. You see, success is when preparation meets opportunity. The opportunity is here and ever present. The world needs you. The world needs Africa. Africa has 60% of the arable land on earth where you can grow agricultural crops. and yet Africa has the lowest yield per acre. Africa farms the least percentage of the available land you have to grow agricultural crops, and you have the lowest productivity. We want to bring the best practices in the world, Minister, to Tanzania, to Africa. We want to bring the best practices. The best practices of entrepreneurial development are being offered here. That's why we're joining. Entrepreneurialism will create economic activity that changes the commerce that pulls Africa in the mainstream of global commerce and social discourse. You want to be heard? You want to be seen? Contribute to the world's economic fabric. Matter in the world, and the world will acknowledge you. We started in Tanzania because we believe Tanzania is a very special place. And I will just say a few things, and then I cannot wait to hear my dear friend, Minister Nkumbu. And I tell you, brother, I love you, I follow you, and any way I can help you, I am with you. What are we going to do? We are working to bring the largest IPO in the history of Africa to the market in 2024. With the successful IPO, and you all will have a chance. You'll view it. We'll have to tell the story. It's an open book. IPOs have to be an open book. We have to tell everybody what we're doing, why we're doing it. What are the risks? Who are our competitors? How are we going to win? You'll have a chance to look at all of that. You'll have a chance to invest or not. And those that walk with us will get the benefits of the kingdom walk that is in front of us. And with the proceeds of the successful IPO, we will reinvest much of the economic benefit that is unlocked back into the mechanisms of economic development within Africa. We're going to partner with BDC. We're going to partner with KLNT. We're going to open up with our support trade missions, Minister, to the U.S. We'll be looking to do that in next year, investment and trade missions, but it won't be a one-time event. We want to have an event in the U.S. and an event in Tanzania every year going forward. And we're going to take much of the money that is unlocked, and it will be historic, multi-billion dollars in the hands of private enterprise to work with the minister and his colleagues and the great leaders of this nation and the great leaders of Africa to build the infrastructure and then create the economic activity within that infrastructure that brings Africa from the shadows of the world into the light of a new day and a new way in Africa and the world, where we all understand what it was always intended to be. Heaven would not have made Africa the most resource-abundant land on earth and expect a scarcity for its inhabitants. That is not heaven. It is time for us to do our part. Are we willing to do the work? Are we willing to do the work? Are you willing to do the work? Faith without works is dead. And the time is now. Thank you very much.
Let's all put our hands together in a big way. That has been a very invigorating speech. Very invigorating speech. One more clap of hands, please. It has caused a lot of us to think differently tonight. How many of us are thinking differently tonight in some aspects? Sure, many of us have. Matter in the world, and the world will acknowledge you. I love that. How many of us are going to participate in an event in the U.S. every year? because we've been taught one event in US and I love to travel, so definitely I'll be there. 220 shillings per share. All of us can afford that. One of the beautiful things about being a member or being a part of these programs is that you get to hear people like Lloyd, who you cannot find easily anywhere else. And if you were to find them, you probably have to be a millionaire yourself to be able to hear them. Because he hangs out with millionaires and billionaires. So it's really important for all of us to be a part of this program because we get access to people like him. And, you know, speeches like this, you need to hear more of them a little bit more often so that you can cleanse your thinking. I don't know if I'm speaking, I wish I could start preaching, but I cannot. So there's a flyer on your table. I don't know. Has each table have a flyer on your desk, on your table? Raise your hand if you don't have a flyer. It says, join a life-changing entrepreneurship program. Do you have it? All right, KLNT team, I think there are a lot of tables around here that don't have the flyers. Make sure to go around and drop the flyer. Okay, thank you very much. I now would like to move the program ahead by bringing on stage Honorable Emanuela Kaganda, who is the District Commissioner of Arumeru. She will speak on behalf of the RC and introduce our honorable guest of honor. Round of applause for her, please. Karibu sana. Oh, she will not even come by herself. Madam Mahalu is here. Round of applause for Madam Mahalu, please. Quality people. We have an opportunity to have quality people on this program. Karibu, Mama.
I think with due respect, and I understand him, everyone is just very excited for being able to have this privilege tonight or this evening to be here. So no wonder his excitement to leapfrog. I understand you. Ladies and gentlemen, as the word says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. When you know, you know. And if you know, use it well. And if you don't know, then take the opportunity to know. And I think that's why BDC and all these extinguished personalities, men of God, are here with us this evening. We do not take it lightly. And we thank the Almighty God for that. Now, as the former speaker has just said, if we know, there was one catchword that he's used, synergy. That is also has to be part of the equation. Private-public partnership. Together, we will move. Better together. My job now this evening is very, it's going to be brief. We are running out of time. And with due respect, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol having been observed, it is my humble duty now and privilege to take this opportunity to welcome the Honorable DC of Arumeru, Honorable Emanuela Kaganda, who I humbly request, after she has spoken to us tonight, we'd also request you, Honorable DC, to welcome our guest of honor to the podium to speak to us this evening. Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Honorable Professor Kitila Mkumbo, Minister of State in President's Office, Investment and Planning. the executive chairman and founder of Kingdom Leadership Network Tanzania, Mr. Isaac Mpatwa. Board of Directors of the Kingdom Leadership Network Tanzania and its affiliated Kingdom Leadership Institutes and Regent BDC faculty, Professor John Malford and Johnson Benedict, representatives of the Regent University Center for Entrepreneurship, Virginia Beach, USA. Mr. Lloyd Ward, founder and CEO of Ward Holdings International, LLC. Godfrey Simbeye, country director of Ward Holdings Tanzania and former CEO of TPSF. Advocate Wilfrida Mahalu, KLNT board and legal consultant. The bishops, pastors, and faith leaders from all denominations, business leaders, NGO leaders, and entrepreneurship, key media, journalists, print, TV, and radio, distinguished guests, speakers, and participants, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Good evening. Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. I'm here tonight to represent the Regional Commissioner for Arusha, Honorable John Mongela, who really wanted to be here tonight with you, but due to other activities and engagement which he had to attend tonight, he couldn't make it. But he had sent the greetings to you, and I will make a speech on behalf of him tonight. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this critical event, the KLNT business meeting. Some participants I know some participants have traveled from the USA. You are welcome to Arusha, which is a major international diplomatic hub. It's also known or called the Geneva of Africa, since it is the de facto capital of East African community, hosting it as well. The city has hosted the International Criminal Tribunal of Rwanda since 1994. This business dinner meeting, I know it's organized by the Kingdom Leadership Network of Tanzania to bring together their member leaders across different sectors and sphere of partners and critical stakeholders to share the coming plans and intervention for the coming year as far as business and investment as concerned. Focusing on Tanzania-Israel Business and Investment Forum, the Tanzania-USA Business and Investment Forum, National Leadership Development and Economic Transformation, KLNT, unites those leaders regardless of their denomination, background, and political differences. During this meeting, the Honorable Minister will further feature the introduction of the Business Development Center in Arusha, delivered by the Kingdom Leadership Network in Tanzania, through her affiliation training institution, the Kingdom Leadership Institution, KLI, partnership with Regent University, through its Center for Entrepreneurship, based out in Virginia Beach. This meeting is I know it's hybrid with both in-person and virtual attendance. In-person attendance was by invitation only, bringing together leaders, mainly CEOs, entrepreneurs, business leaders, directors of the corporations, head of NGOs, government officials, and faith-based organizations. Virtual attendance is open to all, with thousands of leaders in Tanzania and across the globe participating in broadcasting live to the TVs, social media platforms, Zoom, Google, and Google Meetings, and other advanced telecommunication digital technology. Ladies and gentlemen, while in Arusha, for those who are here from abroad, you may wish to take a city tour and enjoy cool breeze of the Geneva of Africa. Arusha is situated to the foot of the majestic mountain, Mount Meru. It is also known to be Tanzania's northern safari circuit, safari capital. It's bordered by Kenya, which lies in the northern east, with the Serengeti Plains in the north and west. In the south lies the Maasai Steppe, separated by isolated hills. For those who will stay after the meeting, you may wish to see some of the spectacular wonders of the world, the Ngorongoro crater, where wildlife coexists with human beings, and the Olduvai Gorge, the cradle of humankind. All these are just less than an hour from the city center. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, let me once again welcome the Business Development Center project to Arusha, delivered by the Kingdom Leadership Network. Through her affiliated training institution, the Kingdom Leadership Institution, in the partnership with Regent University, through its Center for Entrepreneurship, based out of Virginia Beach. The Regent Center for Entrepreneurship has been transforming people and nations through business since 2006. The RCE continues to work in Tanzania through the Kingdom Leadership Institute, seeking to improve the economic condition of our disadvantaged population in Tanzania through entrepreneurship grounded in an ethical, value-based, worldwide, as per RCE mission and strategies. The Regent BDC Arusha will conduct an action-based entrepreneurship program of 20 weeks, organize and participate in conferences, symposium, provide support, training, and direction to business organization, produce, disseminate resources, and deliver Regent University courses. Other practical courses BDC Arusha will be running include executive short courses, namely performance management for leaders, customer care, skills, and customer care strategies for leaders, business model audit and key success factor diagnostics, developing high potential business ideas, marketing strategies, business models, finance and operation, and developing business plans. All the necessary facilities, including certified trainers and Regent curriculums, are in place. In line with the Regent University Trainers Policy, all instructors, trainers must attend the training, train the trainer TOT courses as per prerequisite before they can train students and become certified trainers with Regent University Business Development Center. Therefore, I'm aware today that 30 trainers, facilitators will be certified after 3 days TOT for BDC program, which took place from the 9th to the 11th November here in Arusha. Ladies and gentlemen, this program is unique because it allows businessmen and women to enter the business quickly and fully equipped. Students and business people come to the center with business ideas. Some with idea will walk out with fully functioning business. During the 20 weeks, the entrepreneurs and business people are empowered and equipped with entrepreneur skills and ethical value-based business principles. The program is also unique in that entrepreneurs and business people are equipped to understand and appreciate value-based, ethical and moral economic investment principles, and such as impact the national economic transformation and equitable economic distribution in Tanzania through business, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Dear organizers of this business center to Arusha, on behalf of the regional commissioner and all the people of Arusha, we would like to invite you, and we are so excited to see this program taking over and taking off. We all ready to support in all needs during the introduction and also during the preparation of this program in our region of Arusha. So feel free to visit our offices, and whenever you need any support, we are ready to offer, because we are so excited to have this program in our region. And we thank you very much for choosing Arusha. You could have chose other region, but you felt like Arusha will be the best place. And I assure you that you actually did the right choice. You're welcome. And thank you for listening. Asanteni sana, na ninawatakia jioni njema. Sorry. Baada ya kusema haya, sasa ninapenda kutumia fursa hii kumkaribisha sana mgeni wetu rasmi, Honorable Professor Kitila Mkumbo. And we are karibu sana.
Honorable District Commissioner who is representing our Regional Commissioner here, Mr. Johnny Mongela, Mr. Isaac Mpatwa, the Executive Chairman of the Kingdom KLNT, as they like to call it, and of course friends from other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Meshindaje? Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Now the problem of being a guest of honor is that you are invited to speak while everything has been said. You are left with only very few words, which is you are expected to declare something. And I am supposed to be declaring that the Business Development Center in Arusha is officially open. I think, Mr. Isaac, I've done my job, right? You know, the problem that I've traveled all the way from Dodoma, and if I come here and just say those few words, this guy will be very angry. So I have to say something before I leave this platform. So I bring with me greetings from Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. For those who are coming from outside Arusha and from out of Tanzania, Her Excellency welcomes you to Arusha in Tanzania. And thank you very much for coming. I wanted to also thank the organizers for initially inviting our Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Mashaka Biteko, who was pleased to send me here to act on his behalf. So these guys did not invite me, actually. They invited our Deputy Prime Minister. So I'm here on behalf of Honorable Dr. Mashaka Biteko, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Tanzania. Nevertheless, what I'm going to be saying here are actually my own words. He never gave me a speech, so I'll be saying my own words, even though I'm here on his behalf. So I'm here on his behalf, but I'm not going to be speaking on his behalf. So that is a very big difference. I'm pleased to be speaking here because I've just come from the Parliament, where on behalf of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, I did present the recommendations, what we call the recommendation for the National Development Plan for next year. And my theme, the major theme of my presentation in the Parliament was the value addition. And I made a statement in the Parliament that there is no any country in the world. I've been reading since I was appointed to be a minister for planning and investment, which is actually an economic minister in a way. And I'm not an economist. I'm actually a psychologist and educationist. So I had to begin reading a lot of literature on how countries develop economically. And I've been reading a lot of literature on how rich countries became rich and why poor countries remain poor. And throughout my reading, I have not come across a literature which says that country X developed by exporting raw materials. All the literature that I've read, one major reason why countries that developed was because they indulged into serious industrialization. So anybody who tells us that we are going to develop by exporting our cotton, by exporting our minerals, by exporting our cashew nuts in their raw form, that guy is actually cheating us. This is why I'm so pleased to be meeting again Lloyd, who has who introduced to me
the market-driven industrialization concept way back, I think, was it 2021, when I was the Minister for Industry and Trade. I'm so pleased by the time you came here, you were very passionate to see the Tanzania agricultural products in the US market. I'm pleased that I've learned this evening that that dream has been realized. God bless you very much. So, in this country, trade and investment is at the center of Her Excellency's Economic Growth and Development Plan. And because of that, we take this event very seriously. I interpret the meaning of this event into three aspects. One is the promotion of Tanzania-US business and investment activities. And I can see on the other hand, promotion of Tanzania-Israel business and investment activities. And in the middle is promoting entrepreneurship in Tanzania. And all those three aspects are key in our economic agenda. The plan that I presented yesterday, our main goal is to promote the economic growth that is centered at, which is inclusive, promoting job creation, reducing poverty, generating wealth, and more importantly, promoting export of value-added products. That is the main agenda that we are trying to promote. And to be able to achieve that, trade and investment is at the center. But secondly, the analysis of our economic growth and development over the past 20 years reveals two main aspects. One is that Tanzania's export has been dominated over the past 20 years by the export of raw materials, mainly minerals and agricultural products. Secondly, 20 years ago, our main export markets were in Europe and Africa. 20 years later, our export markets are no longer in Europe. They are in India, China, UAE, Africa, and other Middle East African countries. And that is very important for us. At the moment, once again, the world is hungry for minerals. This time, critical minerals for green industrialization. And I've just come from a conference, European Union Africa Conference in Brussels. And I had an opportunity to make remarks on behalf of our country. And we had colleagues from other African countries. And Tanzania, alongside DRC, Zambia, Angola, and other countries. I think Botswana, we are about 5, 6 countries in Africa that have been earmarked as sources of what they call critical raw materials. Those are the critical minerals that are required to produce the batteries that are supposed to be powering the vehicles on our roads. In the next 10 to 30 years, this world will no longer be consuming the oil as we know. The world is changing into green energy, the clean energy. And we made it abundantly clear that, hey, you guys, for the past 50 years, you have been coming to Africa, you have mined our minerals, exported to Europe, to America, and other developed world. You basically left us with nothing. You left us with what you call corporate social responsibility, CSR, building 2, 3, 4 toilets. Please, this time around, we are not going to allow our critical minerals to be exported out of Africa in their raw form. We want them to be added within our countries. Which is why Lloyd discussion here is so important for us. And that is the vision of Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, and I'm here to represent this. Finally, this is supposed to be a dinner, so I'm not going to be spending a lot of time. You have been hearing a lot of speeches. Let me highlight, because I note that there are friends and colleagues from within and outside Tanzania that they have been very much inspired by Lloyd, but also by Dr. there from Meliå Bank to invest in Tanzania. I think that this country has been championing investment since the 1990s, when we moved away from state-based economy to private-led or driven economy. And we have huge discussions as politicians. Are we still a Jamaa or not? And I'm saying, you know, this world today is not about being a capitalist or being a socialist or being a communist. This world today is being pragmatic. You have to be pragmatic and scientific. Is all that you need. If the science leads to socialism, that is fine. If it leads to capitalism, that is fine. But what is important, you have to be pragmatic. And what are our selling points? Some of them have been mentioned. Investors, number one, fact that they're looking for a place which has political stability. And Tanzania remains, as we speak, the most politically stable country in Africa. That is a resource, that is a potential that we have to use into economic stability. Because people will not eat political stability. People need to eat economic stability. So this has to be transformed into economic science. Because if life does not make sense economically, it will stop making sense politically. So that is critical. Secondly, we have to have good, progressive legal framework. And since coming into power 2-3 years ago, Dr. Samia's government has taken very serious progressive legal reforms to promote investment. Last year, we reenacted our Tanzania Investment Act. We now have Tanzania Investment Act, which the World Bank claims to be one of the most progressive in the world. So there is no doubt in terms of the legal aspect. And one offer that we offer in that legal legislation is that never again in this country, if you invest, your property will be expropriated without internationally, legally recognized processes. So that is critical. We have undertaken massive infrastructure development across the country in all forms, be it roads, be it railways, the thing that we are talking about, be it waterways, be it airways. And I was once in Ruvuma, and I had a colleague from UK who was invested there in terms of farms, and he was telling me one good thing about Tanzania is that you are doing your infrastructure development very, very progressively. Fourthly, we are a country, as Lloyd said, that is privileged with the natural resources endowment. But you know what? We're talking about Tanzania-Israel Business and Investment Forum. Israel is only 27,000 square kilometers. Half of it is a desert, but Israel is now, as we speak, among the advanced world economies. Israel is surrounded by 7 to 8 neighbors. the economy of Israel is bigger than all the 7 neighbors. Is Israel rich in terms of natural resources? No. Israel barely has nothing. Is it because of God's blessing? Yes and no. God's blessing alone are not enough. Somebody said here, faith without hard work is death. But what makes Israel a prosperous country is because of their investment in here. So yes, we are very proud of our natural resources. But having natural resources alone will not take us anywhere. We have to exploit them intelligently. So investment in education, in skills development, in science and technology is critical. And that is what Her Excellency Dr. Samia is pushing us to do. Fourthly, is about people. At the end of the day, development is by and for the people. So we are investing in skills development. We are so happy now that at least 40% of our population is now having secondary education. And that is critical. There is no any country in the world which develops by having so many of its population with below secondary education level. And in this country, we're very proud of people. Sometimes we pride ourselves for being the Sarasaba. It is not very helpful in terms of development. Research shows that for your people to develop, at least you must give them secondary education and above. And we are doing that. And a report which was released, I think, last week shows that Tanzania, at least 40% of the population is now having secondary education, thanks to many efforts that we have undertaken over the past 10, 15 years. And finally, the biggest asset we have, and I said this one in Europe, and I'm going to say it here, is that we have had 6 presidents since we got independence, and all of them have done massive contribution to this country's development. What is one of the unique features of President Samia's approach to leadership and governance? She's now acclaimed almost in this region, African region, that she's now the most pro-business and investor-friendly president. And that is a very important asset in terms of attracting foreign direct investment, which is why over the past 2 years, during her leadership, we have seen volumes and volumes of investors coming to invest in our country. And we hope that in the next few years, this is going to turn around our economy as we continue promoting our local investors here. And lastly, she's putting special focus on rural development. 65% of our people are still living in rural areas. And the majority of our workforce is still rural defined. Our economy is largely still driven by agriculture. Almost 20% of our GDP is coming from agriculture. So whether we like it or not, the rural-based life is so important for Tanzania. So there is no way we can develop without paying attention to rural development. And in the plan that I presented to the Parliament over the past 1 week on behalf of our Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, we have paid special focus on rural socio-economic development. And our agenda will be to push in a very special way massive small-scale industrialization so that we begin undertaking primary processing in rural areas. instead of our people selling local produces in their raw form, they begin selling semi-processed products. And we think that is the only way we can begin stimulating the economy. Because in terms of social services, we have done massively. We have electrified our rural areas. Almost 90% of our rural villages are now having electricity. We have sent massive water projects. Almost 70% of our rural villages are now having access to water. Roads are being connected through Tarura. So we have the foundation. And this foundation needs to be utilized so that we begin stimulating productivity in rural areas. And that is what we are going to do. And we hope that program like this one, BDC, will be very helpful. And my challenge therefore is, as much as you guys have been going to Dar es Salaam, to Dodoma, to Arusha, and I'm sure you'll be moving to other cities, can you please begin moving to our young people in rural areas so that we stop the rural-urban migration? That is only possible if the rural areas begin experiencing good life as in city areas. That is possible through social services, electricity, water, roads, etc. That is the role of the government. We are doing it. We are doing it very successfully. What is remaining really is to be able to stimulate serious productivity, entrepreneurship, so that those guys in rural areas, they begin to make money where they are. That is critical, and I hope that you can join us. With those few words, let me once again thank you, Mr. Isaac, for inviting our Deputy Prime Minister, and I thank you, the Deputy Prime Minister, for sending me here to speak on his behalf. And I'm now very pleased to say that the Business Development Center in Arusha is officially launched. Asante sana.
Thank you, Professor Kitila Mukumbo, Minister of State, President's Office, Planning and Investment. Let's give him a big round of applause one more time. I'm going to ask you, sir, to step down here so that we can have some photography before you leave. May I have the chairs brought over? And then the first group will be, the high table. I would ask you to come and stand behind Mheshimiwa. And then that will be followed up by the government officials that are here. And then finally, all the KLNT advisors, consultants, staff, new and existing BDC facilitators. That will be the third photograph. Wakuu wa taasisi mbalimbali za serikali mtafuatia kwenye picha itakayofuatia. Sasa hivi ni meza kuu kwanza. Asante. Sasa ni viongozi mbalimbali wa taasisi za serikali. Nyuma, tasimama nyuma nadhani. Asante sana. Sasa hivi ni KLNT advisors, consultants, staff wote, facilitators ambao mnahudhuria train the trainers program, wote tafadhali sasa hivi. Of course na mimi mwenyewe kama trainer lazima niwepo kwenye hii photo. Magrupu mawili eh? Okay, asante. Naona nyinyi mngejiunga sugeni kidogo kuanzia kwa mzee hapa ili mtaingia kwenye picha na ukuje. Asante sana. Okay. Tuliobakia tuingie. Natumaini tutatabasamu zaidi ya wale wa kwanza. Haya, grupu moja imebaki nadhani. Hopefully hao ndio watakuwa washindi wa kutabasamu kabisa. Wakati huu nimepewa angalizo dogo kwamba viongozi wa dini wote ambao mko hapa naomba msogee pia. Viongozi wa dini, wachungaji, wahubiri, manabii, mitume, kama mko hapa ndio wakati wenu. Mashehe, alhamdulillah. Ngesogea hivi kidogo upande huu. Asante sana meza kuu, tunashukuru mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi. Naam. Meza irudishwe. Naomba meza irudishwe. Nafikiri sasa ni wakati wa kuruhusu mgeni rasmi na timu yote ya meza kuu waweze kutoka. Tunawashukuru sana. Makofi. No. Yeah, sawa sawa. Kwa hiyo ni mgeni rasmi peke yake. Kumradhi kabisa. Kumbe anaondoka ni Mr. Lloyd Jones ambaye anakwenda kwenye kikao cha muhimu sana. Lakini wengine wote tuko hapa. Kumradhi kwa hilo. Tafadhali. Sawa, basi ninaomba turudi kwenye meza kuu hapa wengine, alafu tutakuwa na closing remarks. Yes, naomba Dr. Godwin Kimaro, former Director of Finance, at the World Vision Africa. He was overseeing over 27 countries. He is the member of the KLNT Advisory Board. Tafadhali tunakuomba uje utoe closing remarks and you utoe vote of thanks. Dr. Godwin Kimaro. Baada vote of thanks, then tunaenda kwenye chakula, I believe. Ndio, tafadhali. Karibu mzee.
Honorable Professor Kitila Mkumbo, Minister of State, President's Office, Investments and Planning, Honorable Emanuela Kaganda, representing the Arusha DC, District Commissioners, Bishops and Pastors that are represented here, senior government officials, all protocols being observed. Good evening. On behalf of Mr. Isaac Mpatwa, the Executive Chairman and Founder of KLNT, and even as I look around here to see the number of people that are represented in this meeting, and the caliber of people that are here, I'm pretty much humbled to see that all of you could come and attend this occasion. I'm sincerely extending my vote of thanks to each one of you for sparing your valuable time and resources to attend this big event of launching a business development center, a chapter here in Arusha, which is the third actually from after Dodoma and the one which is in Dar es Salaam. This initiative will definitely transform people, businesses, and Tanzania as a whole. Dear distinguished guests, suffice to say that all what needed to be said regarding what KLNT is all about and the BDC training program has been said. We are ready to go. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? This week, we spent about 2.5 days with Mr. Jason from Regent University working as through a training program of trainer of trainers, and about 40 people went through this training. We have already identified people that have gone through this program, and there are also other people from the other centers that are ready to undertake this initiative and to train other people and entrepreneurs. The first training is geared to take off on 27th of January 2024. You have seen in your brochures, the details are in there. And we are requesting all of you to be part of this program. And you can be part of this program in 2 ways. One is to avail yourself to attend this meeting. But secondly, by sharing this good news to people, your own people that are around with you there. If you are a CEO of a company, please bring your staff. But also if you're an entrepreneur, you can also share this good news to the other entrepreneurs around you. So we're calling each one of you to be vigilant. We really want to transform Arusha. We really want to transform Tanzania. and do many exploits for the kingdom of God. As I end, I really want to again thank you very much for your coming, for your participation, and I believe we are now ready to go into the other things that are ahead of us. Thank you so much, and welcome, and be part of us. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Godwin Kimaro, for those wonderful closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our program tonight. We would like to extend our sincere, heartfelt thanks to the Honorable Guest of Honor, Professor Kitila Mkumbo, Minister of State, President Office Planning and Investment, other government officials, BDC, Entourage, the business community in Arusha, the faith world, and everybody else, and every invited guest. What follows next is that wonderful time. It's dinner time. And I would like to request that all of us go through that door, that double door there, or any of those, and let us leave this only for the high table to go through, just over here. Okay? So we're going to request that they stand. The high table first stands, and then they leave. And then shortly after that, all of us will follow behind. Otherwise, thank you so much. Make the most of this program. Come and attend. Be a part of it. Invite your friends, relatives, colleagues, and be sure to network as much as possible with all of the people that are here, because that's the true essence of entrepreneurship. I'm James Mwangamba. I've been your MC for tonight. I thank you so much, and may God bless you. We'll see each other soon. Karibuni na asanteni sana. Okay, KLNT team, can you please guide us? How about if we stand up table by table in order to avoid confusion? Let us start with these two tables. Shalom, where are you and the team? And Irene, if you can lead us in the process, maybe table by table. The rest of us, let us please be patient. Asanteni sana.